Welcome to this session on SandStorm Cloud. In this session, we'll see how to upload your existing test case to the SandStorm Cloud portal, then how to create a scenario, and further how to execute a scenario from the cloud portal. So for many of you who may have seen the SandStorm on-premise version, this is the recording tool, and this is how our test case looks like. And in this session, we'll upload this test case and we'll see how this test case can be executed from the cloud. So before executing this test case from the cloud, let's quickly check a sanity run for this test case from the recording tool itself. So for that, we'll perform a debug run. And as soon as we see our debug run is successful, now we are all set to upload this test case to the cloud. So to upload this to the SandStorm Cloud portal, you need to click Upload to Portal. And then using your credentials for the SandStorm Cloud portal, you can upload this and would be able to execute it from the cloud portal. In case you do not have your cloud credentials, you can log into sandstorm.impetus.co.in, and from there you can register through our website and get your credentials. Okay, so let me go ahead and connect it to my account. As soon as I connect to my account, I get a list of all the projects which are created under my account. So let me go ahead and select one project and then upload this test case to that project. Once it is uploaded successfully, I get a message. And now I can go and check to my SandStorm Cloud account how the test case is uploaded. So let me log into my account. So these are the projects. Let me get into the project where I have uploaded this test case. And so on the test cases page, you can see this SandStorm demo is the test case which I uploaded from my recorder. Now we'll see how we can create a scenario to execute this test case with the help of a test scenario. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create a scenario which we can execute further. So for that, let's go to scenarios. Here you can click on the add button to add a new scenario. So the usage of a cloud portal and the flow is pretty much intuitive, and you can just follow the instructions on the screen and you're good to start with your load testing. Okay, let's give a scenario some name. A small description, and then at the bottom you can add a test case. Now by default everything gets added in the default group. So you can give this some any name. Let me give it default itself. Then you select the test case which you want to execute. So SandStorm demo is the one which we uploaded. So let's use this. The number of virtual users. And if you wish to add more test cases, you can just click save and add new test case. In this case, I just want to execute one test case. So let me just save this. And after this is saved, we'll go to the scenario configuration. So once your test case is added to your scenario and is saved, The next thing you need to do is you go to the orchestration tab, and here you can specify the configuration for your scenario execution. So let's select the default group in which we added the test case. In this default group, here we can specify the run duration. So let's execute it for a couple of iterations. Here you can specify the ramp up. So let's give the ramp up one virtual user every 1 second. Iteration think time and group start settings are something which you can select based upon your requirements. And here you can see is the list of various locations from where we can spawn the instances. So in this case, I'm selecting the Amazon West Coast in the United States. And then I save my scenario. So once my scenario is saved, it appears in the scenario listing. So here we can see this SCR1 is the one which we just added. Now to execute this scenario, we need to go to scenario list. And on the scenario list, here we have the list of the scenarios which are present in our project. So this is the scenario which we want to execute. You simply click on the start button or the run button. As soon as you do this, a notification would pop up saying that you would be charged based on the number of virtual users and the duration. So just select this. And once you do this, your scenario would start getting loaded. So this is the scenario loading screen where we can see the scenario progress. So right now it's acquiring the resources in which it is spawning the instances. Once the spawning is done, it would copy the test case to those instances and would transfer other artifacts. For example, if you're using any JavaScripts or data files or even the Java classes, they would be transferred to the instance from where we want to generate the load. And once this is done, the scenario execution would start. So once your scenario load process begins, you can see the scenario progress where right now it's acquiring the resources in which the portal is spawning various instances from the West Coast region. And on those instances, it is copying the test case and any other artifacts. For example, if you're using any data files or JavaScripts or Java classes, those would be copied to the instance, and then from that instance, the load would be generated. So once the scenario is loaded and all the artifacts are copied to the instances, the scenario execution would start, and this real-time dashboard will give the information about the scenario execution status. So now you can see the real-time status of your scenario is being displayed. All the transactions, the total number of passed fields and not executed transactions along with their min, average and max response times. So once this scenario gets executed, we would be able to see the scenario results. If we scroll down further, we can see some real-time graphs which are displayed, and these would give a fair bit of idea on how the scenario is executing at any given point of time. So here is the total hits Here is the number of virtual users, total number of virtual users, and the transaction response time for these various transactions. Once the scenario gets completed, it would take you to the results page where we can open the results for the executed scenario. So let's go ahead and do that. To do so, you need to click the analyzer button, and here you can specify the start time and the end time for your scenario, so that this gives you an opportunity to select the steady state period and get rid of the ramp up and ramp down time. And from here you can specify the percentile value. Let's keep it the default value, which is 90, and generate the results. So as soon as the results would get processed, this dashboard would start populating, and depending on your internet speed, this may take some time, a few seconds, to get refreshed and get loaded. So now you can see the dashboard is loaded with the information about the scenario, the total virtual users, total hits, past failed and not executed transaction, and throughput and average throughput. If we look at the bottom, then here we have the various transactions and their response time, both the average and the 90th percentile. If we take a look at the left hand side of our screen, then here we have the various headers in which different reports and graphs are accessible. So let's go ahead and open a few of them. So if we open the summary report, this would give all the information about the executed scenario. And this is how the summary report, or the transaction performance summary report, looks like. So here we have all the transactions, their min, average, and max response time, along with the standard deviation and the 90th percentile. We can open a couple of more sample reports, and we can also open a few of the graphs. So let's have a look at the running user graph. And this will give graphical representation of how the users were ramping up during the course of the scenario, and how the scenario was loaded. Yeah, so this is how the graph looks like. You can check few more graphs and reports. These are some statistics related to the web. So we have total hits, total pages, throughput, etc. Let's have a look at the HTTP response summary. And this would give a summary of all the HTTP response codes that were generated during the scenario execution. So this summary is nothing but a pie chart which gives the distribution. Here we can see the blue ones represent the 200 response code, while green is 302. Similarly, if you have any other response code in your test execution results, that would be displayed as well. Now, each of these reports, they can be exported to various formats. You can export it to PDF or Word or even an Excel format. And you can, of course, directly print the report from here itself, the portal. One more interesting feature of the results here is we can merge the graphs. So for example, if I want to have a combined graph of average response time with the running V users, I can always merge the graph, and then I can have a superimposed graph of these two different graphs, which would give me an idea of how my scenario response time was when my users were ramping up or ramping down, or even at any given point of time. So here you can see This is the running users graph. This is the average response time graph. And then each one of them, when superimposed with the other, gives the combined merged graph as a result of this utility. So this was all about executing a test scenario, uploading a test case to the cloud portal, and then further executing a test scenario from the SandStorm Cloud, and then analyzing the results. If you have any questions regarding the usage of SandStorm Cloud portal, you can always get back to us by writing us at SandStorm support. Thank you.